potential for a national security threat, such as information on biological weapons. And finally, definitely not the least of the list, there are challenges due to religious views. This has been known to cover everything from sexual orientation to some form of immorality, but it's basically just anything that is contrary to the values and norms of different religions. There are many avenues we can take to stop censorship. The main thing we cannot do is fold at the onset of challenge. We have to follow through and seek the support we need to serve our communities by maintaining access to diverse ideas and information. There are several organizations that can help support the cause through legislation and litigation. The Office of Intellectual Support's Director, Barbara Jones, states that only around 20 to 25% of all challenges are reported. This number is quite alarming, especially if a disproportionate amount of these cases result in removed material. We must report censorship to every source available to us. The American Library Association can help support us in case of a challenge and has guidelines to follow as librarians. The Office of Intellectual Freedom accepts reports of attempted censorship online now. It's just a click away, as is the National Coalition Against Censorship, the Freedom to Read Foundation, and the Media Coalition, just to name a few. To say that Judith Krug is an icon in librarianship is an understatement. She headed up the Office of Intellectual Freedom as their first official leader back in 1967. They just celebrated 50 years. She was the queen of intellectual freedom, charging through the years, battling censorship, and allying with numerous organizations to combat those in opposition. She became the executive director of the Freedom to Read Foundation in 1969, continuing her quest to fight against censorship and to further the foundation of intellectual freedom. She and her team led the way by educating the public about censorship. The first publication of the Intellectual Freedom Manual was released in 1974, which has been utilized and revised over the years with up-to-date information, but also contains a complete breakdown of the Library Bill of Rights. One might consider the handbook for librarians. Ms. Krug also helped with the founding of Banned Books Week. Yes, Judith Krug joined forces back in 1982 with the American Booksellers Association and the National Association of College Stores to kick off the first official Banned Books Week, an annual celebration to raise awareness of banned books and censorship. At the time, hundreds of books were being challenged in libraries and schools. Banned Books Week is an alliance of many different organizations that want to encourage communities to utilize and fight for the freedom to read. The American Library Association is a big part of this coalition, and the Office of Intellectual Freedom creates its own theme each year to promote the event, and was led by Krug until she lost her fight with cancer in 2009. The Freedom to Read Foundation since started the Judith F. Krug Memorial Fund to award grants that assist nonprofits with Banned Books Week events. Through the power of media, Banned Books Week news now reaches over 2 billion readers. We must commit to uphold intellectual freedom. The American Library Association's Library Bill of Rights states that we have an obligation as libraries and librarians. We must remain true to the profession and take our responsibility to the community seriously, even if there is material that goes against our own beliefs or values. We are to continue to fight for the rights of our patrons to have unrestrained access to all materials, allowing them to decide for themselves. Again, this is part of what makes us who we are, not only as individuals, but as a nation. We need to remain attuned to various programs and events that can help educate and support that freedom. For example, Banned Books Week. Finally, we need to challenge every challenge, report censorship, and continue to grow as unstoppable, lifelong learners as a collective whole.